Even after thousands and thousands of years, the shimmer of gold hasn't lost its charm, or value, or humanity. People always are on the lookout for more ways to acquire gold. They're even willing to kill or steal just to get their hands on it. Are you in search of gold too? Perhaps you are looking for the next gold rush to invest your dollars in. Believe it or not, the oceans might be a good place to look. Keep watching to find out why. Gold has not escaped the interest of scientists either, and some eccentric innovators have even thought that gold might come from the oceans. In fact, the British chemist Edward Sonstead was the first woman to come up with the idea in 1872. In the beginning, it sounded like a crazy idea, but not so much now. It has been proven that there are vast quantities of minerals inside the ocean water, metals like silver, copper, gold, and even cobalt, which was used to make cell phones, and computers today are floating around in form of tiny particles. Where do these metals come from, you might ask? These particles end up in the sea either from hydrothermal vents at the bottom of the ocean, or from the rivers that drain from it. As a matter of fact, the ocean waters around the world today contain about 20 million tons of gold in them. Based on the price of gold, that's almost 10 times the entire world's domestic product. That is a bizarre amount of money. So, what are we waiting for? Why not go get that gold? Well, in short, that might not be the simplest thing to do. You see, the problem is that the concentration level is so low. To get an ounce of gold, you have to process almost 40 gallons of water. That's enough to fill 60,000 Olympic swimming pools, to give you a rough idea. The sediment at the bottom of the sea also holds untapped gold deposits, and technology has been developed that can filter vast amounts of it by using charged particles. And while the gold attained through this method has been very little, it is still seen as an important step towards harvesting the gold reserves in our ocean. Scientists say that there's almost $150 trillion worth of gold deposits on the sea floor, but as of now, there is no cost-effective method to safely extract this gold. That never stopped anyone from trying though. One of the most famous attempts to mine the ocean was carried out by Pastor Fort Jernigan and his partner Charles Fisker in the 1890s. Jernigan claimed to have been a fever dream that gave him the blueprint for a fancy device called the gold accumulator, which was supposedly extract gold from the ocean. It was basically a wooden contraption with an electric current running through a mixture of mercury and a secret ingredient. The idea that it would suck the precious metal from the water and create an amalgam form, which gold will be separated from later. He managed to gather a group of investors and raise $1 million in cash after some demonstrations. But by July of 1898, he and his partner had fled with the money. The entire operation turned out to be an elaborate hoax. Several legitimate attempts were made too. In the 1900s, Henry Clay came up with a device that collected seawater and combined it with lime. After a suitable amount of reaction time, the water would be removed, leaving behind a sludge containing gold, which could be extracted after further processing. But again, the attempt proved to be futile. In 1934, a study by Dr. Colin Fink of Columbia University suggested that not all hope is lost. He was successfully able to separate gold particles from seawater using a method similar to the gold plating, a negativity charged rapidly spinning electrodes that was submerged in seawater and observed to accumulate a tiny but undensable visible of gold. This took a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of seawater. But whereas no other methods were officially confirmed to be successful, Fink's method actually worked. While some gold particles deposited on the cathode, a vast majority did not, because of their colloidal properties, meaning that they remained spread out all over the water. Another problem with Fink's method was that it cost 5 times more than the price of gold would have yielded, which is a problem that scientists continue to encounter even now. The list goes on and on and on, but the point is that no scientist ever managed to extract gold from seawater on a large scale. But we can expect continued efforts from creative inventors and investors alike, because the prize is just too large to ignore. Perhaps one day someone will make the vital breakthrough. Click one of the 2 videos on the screen right now.